Hi guys, Zach here in a Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 4v4 match on the map Red Alert. I'm starting in the bottom position, playing as the Allies. So for those of you who don't know this map, there's a team on an island at the bottom and a team on the island at the top. And connecting the islands is lots of small paths, and there's lots of small islands in the middle with lots of resources. And there's two light paths. There's one on the left side of the map, there's one on the right side of the map. I'm further to the left, so I'm going to be going up there. And you can just see me sending some infantry straight away up to that point, just to get some visibility on the middle. And there was me just trying to place it in the wrong place there. Forgot which colour I was. And I have to be careful here because I don't want to lose all my infantry if I accidentally run them past some infantry from the enemy. So I do have to keep an eye on them. And you can see there's also some buildings in the middle which you can capture. The ones on our side of the map for the left side is harder to capture. You need a couple of engineers compared to the top side. And what I'm going to be doing very early on is I'm going to be going for an early MCV so I can get an extra base set up. And you can just see me setting some infantry out here. And that's just to defend against any oncoming infantry, so they can't get as much map visibility on our side of the map. And I'm just going to be sending some scouts up as well, just to get a bit more visibility myself. And now I'm going to be building another MCV. I'll go for a couple. Well, I think I'll go for one. Construction complete. And the question is here, I will need to go for quite an economic start because it is an ore-only map, like for the at your starting base, so you are quite tight on funds. If you can get an MCV to the middle early on, or if you can capture one of the buildings, then you can start getting a lot more resources because in the middle there is gems as well as ore. And you do want to get to the middle as soon as possible, really, because the ore in your starting bases are limited. As you can see, there's lots of teams mining at our starting area, and that ore is only going to last for so long. So really what I want to do is I want to be able to get to those middle positions as quickly as possible. But I still need to make sure I have enough ore at the start so I can make enough funds. Just to make it successful. And I've got some visibility of the middle island, thankfully, so I can see a little bit of what's going on there. So what I'm going to do is deploy my MCV there and get out an ore refinery. You can see some of my teammates also getting a service depot out as well. And I am going to start building another war factory. And Blue has some tanks out, so he's had a bit of a faster start than me in terms of building tanks because, of course, he's been able to. He hasn't built a service depot as soon as I have, so I should have a better economy later on, hopefully. And I'm going to be building a radar dome so I can see what's going on in different parts of the map. But you can see so far, we can see the yellow team up at the top there. So we're probably going to be in a fight quite soon. And I'm just building another ore refinery just to get those funds in so I can support the double war factory production. I'm also bringing my MCV over so I can build another ore refinery, but this time it's going to be in the middle and I will have access to some of the gems. And you can see Purple's also got some infantry up here. So thankfully Blue's moved a little bit, so I'm going to be able to put that ore refinery down, get some gems. I'm also going to be able to place some turrets. I just need to make sure my tanks don't get too much in the way. But I want some turrets down so I have some protection if the other team do decide to go on the attack. At the moment, it doesn't look like they've got overwhelming numbers. It looks like we're possibly quite even, although you can see that Yellow's moved his tanks out of the way, so I don't know if he's moved them back. So let's see how much they've got. So you can see Cyan now pulling back a little bit. I'm also building a naval yard so I can build some naval units. And you can see Yellow's definitely got quite a number of tanks there. The question is, does he have more tanks than me? And I can't really tell that at the moment. And I'm just having a look here and I can't see any base in the middle of the map, so we possibly have the advantage there at the moment. But I am going to have to pull back because there's quite a few there. And you can see that Green has got some... it's got naval support, so that's going to make it a bit more tricky for me. And I'm just bringing my MCV back a little bit because I don't want to I don't want it to get fired on. I don't want to lose it to those naval units. So you can see green getting some of the naval vision. And what I have to be aware of also is that they may also be having some naval vision because of satellite, if it goes on for long enough. So what I've done is I've packed my MCV into that transport ship. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be bringing that transport ship into the middle island. Not the middle island, the island to the left. And we can see there's an MCV definitely at the top part of that middle island now. So we're going to have to possibly fight that. And we're also getting fired on by cruisers. So we're in sort of like a difficult position right at the moment. I just need to get that transport ship into a good place. You can see that blue now has quite a number of tanks as well, which is really helping us in this position. But now cyan is starting to lay down some turrets, which is going to provide a bit of a nuisance. So what I'm going to have to do is just try to keep these tanks alive as best as I can for the time being. And then we're going to try and get deployed on this island, because this island here also has a lot of gems. I think the significance of these islands is quite often overlooked, because there's two islands here. There's one on this side of the map and there's one on the other side of the map, and they're not connected to the mainland. So the only way you can get to these islands is by sea. And it just gives you such an advantage if you have the islands, because there's a lot of resources on them and you're not getting contested a lot of the time, because you can see in this middle part of the map there's fighting going on all of the time. I've got turrets there, there's tanks there, so even if you have ore trucks in the middle of the map where there are some gems, it's very hard to get a good economy going quite often, and there's always fighting going on in that area. Whereas if you can get on one of those outer islands, sometimes you can get a lot of mining done, which is uninterrupted, and that's what I'm trying to do now. And now we're having a fight against yellow. He's got some medium tanks there. He's also got some base defences helping him, but it looks like we're going to be able to push him back for the time being. And now we get our tech centre down, which means we're going to be able to research satellite. We're also going to be able to build gap generators to hide our buildings from those MiGs. So I'm getting one placed on that outer island straight away, just to avoid that happening. But now we're having a fight with yellow, and you can see yellow's got quite a few tanks. I think he's been getting some reinforcements, and now my tank numbers are starting to fail. I'm also getting fired on by enemy boats, which is making things very, very difficult, and I might have to pull back and regroup. But what I'm doing now is I'm building some naval units from that outer island. I've got some naval yards close by, so hopefully they'll be able to help us in the battle for this part of the map. But we can see in the middle of the map, Cyan's got some cruisers, and they're doing some major damage to our buildings. They've taken out one of our naval yards, and they're making our lives a bit tricky. But what I need to make sure I do at the moment is keep that outer island alive and make sure I keep control, because that's where a lot of resources are, and that's going to help me later in the game. I've just noticed now that my ore refinery's gone down. Obviously those cruisers have done a bit of damage from Cyan. I've got some, thankfully I've got a money box there, so I'm going to hopefully be able to build another ore refinery quite quickly. But you can see there, and you can see yellow now building up some base defences in the middle island. So this isn't looking too good for us at the moment. It definitely looks like the other team have the slight upper hand here. So I just need to place this next ore refinery. I have got quite a lot of ore trucks in the middle now, which is going to help us a little bit. So I'm going to try and place this ore truck down. Ore refinery down. What I've just noticed is there's a little bit of ore there, so I'm going to need to destroy that first. And now I'm going to be able to place that ore refinery down, and I'm going to have 3 ore trucks mining, and I'll just get those destroyers away so they don't keep on firing, because I was using force fire there. And now we're going to be able to use these destroyers to help with the battle on the left side of the map. We'll be able to do some firing on the bases and hopefully be able to destroy some of those enemy units, because they do have quite a few cruisers, which have been providing quite a lot of hassle to my units. Primary building selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to go across now, and let's see what they've got there. So we can see those cyan cruisers, and we're going to see if we can take them down. There's about 4 of them at the moment, and destroyers do quite well against them when they're at close range. You can see yellow there trying to get tanks involved, but the cruisers are a little bit far away. The destroyers are just out of range, except that single one. And it looks like we're going to be able to get these cruisers down. You can see cyan switching to destroyers. but we're also building destroyers as well, and hopefully we're going to have the upper hand. There's only one cruiser left now, and what I've seen also is a transport ship, and I'm going to need to be really careful there because I don't know what that transport ship contains, whether it's a Tanya, whether it's engineers, whether it's another MCV, or whether it's 5 tanks or something like that. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be placing some pillboxes down at this outer base on this outer island, just in case we do get attacked there, because it does look like that transport ship is hovering around the area, and you can see these pillboxes firing. It's an APC, so that's a Tanya probably. It could be engineers also, if they wanted to like try and, I don't know, capture my MCV. But now you can see that APC going back into that transport ship, and it looks like it's going away. I think they've realised there's too many pillboxes around, and they'll get destroyed if they release any of the infantry. So I'm just getting another pillbox at the bottom for safe measures. I'm also going to get a couple of pillboxes at this outer base in the first outer island. And just getting one next to my tech centre just in case I get any attacks from the middle. And now we're going to go and focus on the middle of the map. We can see some yellow tanks coming in. We do have a lone destroyer helping us, but they have some cruisers helping them on the other side of that pass in the middle part of the map. And you can see I'm starting to take control of this outer part of the map, but the middle part of the map is still underwater control by Cyan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and change that. I'm going to start building destroyers in the middle part of the map and hopefully be able to get some control there. Because it's very hard to like fight tank battles when the other player has water domination. I'm just getting a couple of naval yards now in the middle, so I can fight there, because I can see my destroyer numbers are significant on the left part of the map. And the middle part of the map's really important as well, because you have to fight enemies. You can fight enemies on the right side of the map as well as the left side, which is how I needed to protect this outer island early on. And you can see Cyan's still trying to produce units from this side, but I'm just taking them out as soon as they're produced, and also destroying their naval yard. And you can see those cruisers moving forwards now, and I'm just going to get some shots off on them. You can see there's 3 of them there, and I think these 2 that are close to my naval yard are going to go down quite quickly. And there's also one that's getting closer, and those cruisers do major damage to structures, and it can also do good damage to like tanks when they're in large numbers. And you can still see we've got that yellow army of tanks guarding the middle island. I'm just trying to get that MCV down, and I think that MCV might have just survived there. I'm not 100% sure, but it did look like it was doing all right. It looked like it just had just enough health just to get past. But now you can see those yellow tanks starting to pull back a little bit. And I've got an ore truck going up there for some reason, and I can see why, because there's no ore in the starting island or in the first middle island. So it's really important that we try and get control of this middle section here, where yellow seems to be going for at the moment. What I noticed is very good though is on the other side of the map I can see from my radar dome that purple has got the other outer island, so it means that my team are going to have more resources in the long game. And now you can see we've got the domination of the middle water, and you can see that purple, our teammate, is in the enemy's base, and he seems to be wreaking a bit of havoc there. And it looks like my island in the outer, my base in the outer island is okay as well. And I'm going to be producing some Tanyas just to take in, just to provide a little bit more hassle. But we're going to see what we can do here. We can see yellow's got quite a few tanks there, but now those tanks are pulling further and further back. There are some gap generators which are making things a bit more tricky, and you can see yellow moving those tanks once again. And there's not many places those tanks can go, because if they go like retreat backwards to the starting base, then they're going to be under fire from our cruisers guarding the bridge. So it's they're in a hard spot at the moment, and we're just going to have to see if we can do some damage to these outer bases. You can see there's Cyan's base. He's got a war factory there, some power plants, so we'll try and take out some of those. And we can see there's not too many units, but now yellow's coming in with some destroyers. He has like a little bit of a naval army that we didn't know about, but those destroyers don't look like they're in too large numbers, and it looks like we have the upper hand at the moment. Yeah, he's only got 2 destroyers left. We've got 5 now, and it looks like this is going to be quite a straightforward battle. So a nice try from Yellow there, but he just didn't have the numbers. He needed to wait. However, that is easier said than done, because we don't know what the ore situation is like for Yellow. He might be really struggling for ore and basically out of it for the time being. So we don't know about that. And I can see that box, that loot box there, that crate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with my ore truck. I know sometimes they do blow up, but it's probably worth the risk because there's not that many resources left on the outer island, and there are 3 ore trucks there, so I do have a couple of more ore trucks if it does go badly. And now you can see Yellow trying to push through with some of his tanks, but it's not going well for Yellow at all, and those tanks going down quite quickly. And I think we're probably going to be good games soon. It looks like we've got like a bit strong force here. And you can see there Yellow's got a destroyer, I think, near his base. I'm also bringing a transport ship in that direction just to get rid of some things. Yeah, you can see there's like a lone destroyer there. But it looks like we're in a good position. And I've got another couple of Tanya there that can put another transport ship. And you can see my ores starting to stack up a little bit now because I'm not building anything. And although we've probably already won this game, sometimes you can have Tanyas which like prove a bit of a turning point. I am going to need to pull back here though, because I'm going to need to use those destroyers to try and destroy that pillbox, because that pillbox will destroy any Tanyas that try and attack that Cyan base. And hopefully that's the only pillbox that's there. However, I don't know that for sure. So we'll just bring those destroyers, get rid of that pillbox, and then see what we can destroy on the island. Because the thing is now, that starting island, although they've got the main bases there, it's not got any resources, so they're not going to be able to build anything. And now we're going to produce the Tanyas, and let's see what we can do. Is there any more? The question is there more pillboxes in the hidden area? And we're just going to try and destroy everything we can. Power plants, gap generators, just any buildings that are there. And now you can see a turret being built. And there's the tech centre. I'm going to go for that first, because the tech centre is very important because it contains satellite, and if that was Cyan's only tech centre, then he will have no map vision anymore. And we could see some infantry produced there, so I'm going to need to probably get line of sight of them. We saw Cyan's cell earlier, and there's a couple of infantry there. We could also see that Green is still using MiGs, and now we're being able to destroy all the opposition on that first island, and now we're going to go to the main island and see what we can do. And we are producing tanks, and we're producing another transport ship. So we'll see what we can do in this island here. You can see there's Cyan's base, almost losing a Tanya there. So we'll go a bit further down where hopefully there's no defences, and we might do some damage to Yellow's base. But Yellow's selling up there, he saw me coming, and that ore refinery going down with some infantry there, taking out my Tanya. And I think it's very clear now that we're going to be able to overpower the enemy here. They've got nothing left, and we're just slowly pushing forwards. Now, I think the key to winning this map, really, as I said earlier, I think the importance of these outer islands is often underestimated. There is a massive amount of resources on those islands, including a lot of gems, and I don't think it so much makes a difference in the early to mid game. I think it's more the mid to end game where the benefits of those outer islands really starts to shine through. Because what happens is the ore starts to run out on the main islands, the main starting positions, where everyone starts to struggle for ore. And if you have the outer island, it just gives you that much more resources than the other team. And that's when you start to get that big advantage. Because you could see in this game, the middle island, they were winning the middle islands in the mid game, definitely on our side of the map anyway. And then suddenly we seem to have more resources, we seem to get more tanks, and we're able to push on. And I think that's because we had the economy from the outer islands to help us, and the other team didn't. And we were also able to win the water on both sides, both the far left and the middle for my end of the map. So I think that made a big difference. And now you can see the other team selling up. You can see there the Soviets being played. I do think the Soviets are weaker on this map, definitely. They do have MiGs, and yeah, MiGs can be like really good if you can get some surprise attacks. If you can take out a player's construction yard who hasn't built a service depot, then that gives your team a big advantage. However, on this map, that's rarely going to be the case. I built a service depot really early in this game, so that we're never going to have an MCD in time. I think that might have been a fake construction yard there, by the way, because it did seem to go down rather quickly. And now we're taking out Cyan's base, and I think he's the last player in the game, so it's going to be a good game. As I say, overall a hard battle. It wasn't looking great for us in the mid-game. We seemed to be losing on the sea and on the land, losing control of one of the middle islands, which was connected to the land, but eventually we managed to turn it around. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video.